Your hands shake as you tear open the envelope with the official seal. Order to report for induction. Your name printed in government font. A date circled in red, 30 days from today. You read it again, hoping the words will change. They don't. The notice explains that failure to report constitutes a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine. The same law that sent 8,750 men to prison during Vietnam. Your phone buzzes. Text from your roommate. Got mine too. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The question burns in your chest as you stare at the paper that just divided your life into before and after. You could report. Show up at 6 a.m., take the oath, disappear into green uniforms, maybe survive 18 months of World War III. Maybe not. You could apply for conscientious objector status. Spend 2 years in hospitals instead of carrying a rifle, if they approve your application. Or you could do what 206,000 men were accused of during Vietnam, what thousands are already doing right now. You could refuse. Here's the question burning in your mind right now. If this notice had your name on it, if you had to decide in the next 30 days, what would you actually do? You walk to your window and look out. Everything looks normal. But you know that in mailboxes throughout the neighborhood, other young men are holding identical notices, making the same impossible choice. Your phone rings. Mom, did you get something in the mail today? Her voice sounds hollow. Yeah. Silence stretches between you. She's probably thinking about your cousin Jake, who volunteered for the Marines and hasn't called since his unit shipped to Poland. What are you going to do? She asks. I don't know yet. But even as you say it, you realize that's not quite true. Deep in your gut, something has already decided. You just haven't admitted it yet. 29 days to choose between a uniform and a prison cell, or something else entirely. Part 2. The choice that changes everything. Day 0. You didn't report. The irony is that nothing happens immediately. No SWAT teams, no dramatic arrests. You wake up, make coffee, check your email. The world looks identical to yesterday, but you've crossed the line that changes everything. By now, your name has been entered into the Federal Delinquency Database. A deputy U.S. Marshal somewhere has received notification that you failed to report. Your social security number gets flagged in every government system. You have maybe a week before they come looking. Your phone rings. Unknown number. You don't answer, but it keeps ringing. Different numbers, different area codes. Either telemarketers or federal agents trying to locate you. You drive to Jake's coffee shop, paying cash for the first time in years. The barista gives you a strange look when you hand her actual money instead of tapping your phone. At the next table, 2 guys your age whisper about Canada, Mexico, places to disappear. The underground network is already forming. Think about your daily routine. How many times do you show ID, use a credit card, or interact with a system that could track you? For someone who just became a federal fugitive, every normal activity becomes a risk. Your laptop shows 17 encrypted messages in apps you downloaded last week. Meeting locations, safe house contacts, instructions for false identification, the same networks that organize protests now coordinate draft resistance. You withdraw your entire bank account. $8,000 in cash that will have to last until you figure out how to earn income without legal identity. The bank teller processes the transaction without comment, but large cash withdrawals get reported to federal agencies. Another data point in the file building somewhere in a government office. You drive home knowing it's probably the last time. Tomorrow you'll need to be somewhere else, someone else. The apartment that felt like home this morning now feels like a trap. Every window could hide surveillance. Every knock could be federal agents. You pack one bag, clothes, documents, cash. Everything else belongs to the person you used to be. The person who reported for induction. The person who chose duty over conscience. That person would be safe tonight. That person would have a future that makes sense. But you're not that person anymore. You're something the government considers a threat, and your neighbors might consider a coward. You're a draft resistor in the first hours of a life you never planned to live. Part 3. When they come for you, the safe house in Portland smells like incense and fear. You're sharing a basement with 2 other resistors, David and Marcus. 3 federal fugitives, sleeping on air mattresses, learning that idealism doesn't keep you warm at night. Your handler, Sarah, brings news that makes your stomach clench. They raided your parents' house this morning. The words hit like physical blows. Mom and Dad sitting at the kitchen table, while federal agents tear through your childhood bedroom. Did they arrest anyone? No, but they questioned your family for 6 hours. They're monitoring all communications now. You can't call home. Can't let your family know you're safe without potentially leading agents to the safe house. The isolation cuts deeper than physical discomfort. David breaks first. On day 24, he walks into the Portland FBI office and surrenders. The stress of constant hiding collapses at once. He'll get 2 to 4 years, Sarah explains. Maybe less if he cooperates. Gives up safe house locations. Marcus looks sick. Will he give us up? Probably. They all do eventually. We need to move tonight. Have you ever tried to live for just 1 week without using your real name, credit cards, or normal phone? Most people can't imagine the constant mental exhaustion of being someone you're not. The new safe house sits in rural Oregon, a compound run by militia members who distrust government but don't support your politics. Strange bedfellows united by opposing federal authority. You learn unexpected skills, how to alter your appearance for facial recognition software, how to earn construction money without ID, how to live with knowledge that this might never end. Month 4 brings mass arrests. FBI coordinated raids across 12 states. Sarah got arrested with 47 others. The network that seemed so secure reveals its vulnerability. Every arrest leads to more arrests. Your new hiding place is a Seattle basement, shared with Jenny, the first woman drafted since courts ruled gender discrimination unconstitutional. My parents disowned me, she says during sleepless nights. Said, if men have to go, women should too. You understand. Your family stopped taking calls from unknown numbers, afraid that contact could bring more federal attention. Through one high window, you watch normal life. People walking dogs, children riding bikes. A world that continues while you hide from it. Deputy Sarah Chen specializes in draft cases. She's arrested 67 resistors in 8 months. Your photo is in her file now. Your associates. Behavioral patterns. She studies resistors like specimens, learning to predict where they'll run, and everyone makes mistakes eventually. Part 4, the cage closes. Month 11 underground. The knock comes at 5:47 a.m. Federal agents, open up! You're already moving. Window to fire escape, alley to stolen bicycle. But Deputy Chen waits in the alley, calmly drinking coffee. She's been hunting you for 8 months. Running will just make this harder. You've lasted longer than most. The handcuffs feel heavier than they should. The elderly couple who harbored you watch federal agents load you into a van. Their lives just ended too. Harboring fugitives carries 5 years. Federal detention processes draft resistors on Tuesdays and Fridays. You're number 43 this week. First time arrested for draft resistance? Yeah. You'll get 2 to 4 years. Good behavior, 18 months. There's a program for resistors in minimum security camps. Your cellmate Marcus looks older but oddly peaceful. Weird thing about getting caught is the relief. No more running. No more looking over your shoulder. Think about the biggest mistake you've ever made and how it felt when you finally got caught. Now imagine that mistake was refusing to serve your country during wartime. Federal court operates on wartime efficiency. Your public defender meets you 30 minutes before the hearing. She's handling 200 resistance cases. Plead guilty, accept standard sentence, serve quietly. Fighting makes judges angry. The courtroom processes resistors in batches of 12. Each case gets 5 minutes. Name, charges, plea, sentence. 2 years federal prison, beginning immediately. Federal Prison Camp Taft, California. 340 draft resistors alongside tax evaders and white-collar criminals. Men who refused to kill sharing space with men who chose to steal. Your bunkmate, Jonathan, lasted 6 months underground before his girlfriend turned him in for her career prospects. Trust no one completely, he advises. Love makes people destroy the people they love. Daily routine becomes strangely comforting after underground chaos. But federal prison during wartime carries permanent consequences. Security clearances unavailable forever. Government employment eliminated. Educational aid revoked. Professional licensing becomes complicated when applications require conviction disclosure. Employment discrimination isn't prohibited for draft resistance. Employers can refuse to hire people with wartime federal convictions. Appeals get denied by courts operating under wartime judicial review. Emergency powers limit traditional constitutional protections. The war continues beyond prison walls. The machinery of conscription grinds forward with or without your participation. You chose conscience over compliance and accepted consequences. But accepting and living with them prove different things entirely. Part 5. What's left after? Release day. A bus ticket and $37 gate money. 2 years, 1 month, 18 days since federal court. The world looks identical, but feels foreign. Your parents' strained silence during the ride home reflects 2 years of explaining to neighbors why their son chose prison over service. Your apartment, job, and girlfriend are gone. Starting over at 25 with a felony conviction. You sit across from Jennifer Martinez, Human Resources Manager at Riverside Electronics. The job seems perfect. Computer repair, decent pay, benefits. Your old skills from before the war. Your resume looks good, she says, scrolling through your application. 2-year gap in employment, though. What were you doing? Your mouth goes dry. I was incarcerated. Her expression doesn't change, but her pen stops moving. May I ask what for? Draft resistance. I refused military induction during World War III. The silence stretches for 30 seconds. She closes your file. I'm sorry, but company policy prohibits hiring individuals with federal felony convictions, especially those involving failure to serve during wartime. We have several veterans on staff and, well, I'm sure you understand. You nod and show yourself out. In the parking lot, you sit in your car and stare at the rejection that just became your life story. Interview over. Every time. You find work eventually. Construction jobs paying cash. Restaurant kitchens where ex-convicts blend in. Half the pay of college-educated, clean background people. Veterans receive parades and benefits. You receive suspicious looks. The GI Bill provides veteran education benefits. You remain ineligible for federal student aid. Here's what nobody tells you about having principles. Sometimes living with the consequences is harder than abandoning them would have been. Do you think the choice was worth it? 5 years later, patterns emerge. Wealthy families hired skilled attorneys and maintained connections. Working-class resistors faced longer-lasting consequences. The justice system revealed class distinctions under wartime pressures. Some resistors expressed satisfaction despite negative consequences. Others question naive idealism that failed to account for permanent exclusion realities. Veterans sometimes understand resistors better than civilians. Combat provides perspective on both service necessity and conscience-based refusal legitimacy. But veteran families who lost members maintain anger at resistors who chose safety, while others died. Memorial services remain uncomfortable spaces. Legal challenges work slowly through courts. Some restrictions get overturned. Educational aid gets partially restored. But comprehensive rehabilitation requires legislative action facing political opposition. As years pass, Children of veterans and resistors inherit complex histories. Families learn to honor different service forms while acknowledging costs of impossible choices. Draft notices created divisions outlasting the war they supported. But they revealed conscience, duty, and citizenship complexity that peacetime never tests. Former resistors wonder about different choices but never regret the principle. Some things matter more than legal compliance. The war ended 3 years ago, but questions about individual conscience versus collective duty echo in every mailbox where future draft notices might arrive. 10 years later, you still check the mail with hands that remember trembling.